winning a lot of contests. I had this new trick. I had a lot of momentum behind me, and I was super, super determined to go there and like fulfill this dream of winning an Olympic medal. And I completely failed. I cracked during the qualifying series and ended up not even making the team. Failure, I think, in life is our biggest teacher. Failing on like a public stage in that scenario is pretty hard to handle. You know, it's not just like a failure in your own life that a couple people know about. It's very public and can be hard to deal with. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, it was really, really tough at the time, but I grew a lot as a person and as a snowboarder from that. I think when those kinds of things happen, you question, like, do I even really like snowboarding anymore? Is this really what I want to do? There's so many things that go through your head. And ironically, snowboarding was actually the thing that I think brought me out of that and actually taught me all of these lessons as well. After Bad Olympics, I just went snowboarding. I just went and rode POW and rode with my friends and was able to like reconnect with what actually drew me into the sport in the first place.
Even though she didn't make the team, there was still a comfortable living to be made by continuing to do the dance for a few more years, guaranteeing the traditional type of media appearance that she was getting on television, X Games, etc., in order to like continue to lead a very comfortable life.
And I remember Elena being bummed out because I don't think she made it at that event, and I guess that's where I was just like, yeah, come ride POW, like come have a good time, come to where like it's fun and like smiles and happy and not this like crazy contest crap. Like, why are we doing this? And she didn't have a snowmobile or whatever, but I was like, dude, whatever, come on out. I'll double you up. We'll just go up to Brandywine and find something just to get you out there, It was just like a really good intro to the backcountry for her. And I think it was cool just to see her like awe of being back there. Like, this is what we do. We go up and we just hang out on these mountaintops and ridges and build fun jumps. And it's low pressure. It's just such a different world than the contest scene. And it was cool to see her having fun and kind of see a different sparkle in her eye. I'd like to think that, that contributed to maybe her enjoying powder and wanting to come back for more. And like shifting the focus away from like contest, and that's your value, to be like, dude, there's this whole other world that people don't really take advantage of. That's so amazing.
She had such a long, successful, competitive career with pipe, and it was, as her friend, it was so tough to watch that last Olympic cycle because she was so close and she had everything she needed to get there. It just like didn't really line up for her, and it's so heartbreaking to watch your friends go through that. But I think in hindsight, I think that really led her on the path that she's on now. And to me, she's doing what she's always meant to do. Like, this is the kind of snowboarding that, watching her ride right now, it suits her so much, and she seems like she's so content and so centered in her riding and who she is, and it's just really, really awesome to see that.
A couple years later, we got to go to Valdez together, and I was really loving like the more open lines and like being able to see all the way down the mountain. And she just tended to like keep picking these like lines that were a bit more advanced and like very convex, like couldn't really see anything. And she would just hold it together like a boss, like just didn't really care, and like would just like kind of take her time, do her breathing, and then like ride these crazy lines, spines with airs, and just like, she has such like power and grace in her snowboarding. And yeah, it's really like, I'm always like taking notes. I'm like, all right, maybe talk less, breathe, and flow, like Elena.
I've known of Elena for a while. I remember specifically when she won the X Games. And so I was like, hey, when this whole Olympic thing's over, whether you do really well or not, like, you're going to need to go splitboarding. We should connect and go splitboarding. Kind of at that point in the fall, she was, considered a medal contender, and then she didn't even make the Olympics. So anyways, we had this trip planned, and I just wasn't sure who to bring, and we're throwing different names around, and thought of her, and I was like, man, I bet you she would really like to come on this trip, and called her up, and she's like, hell yeah, I'm in, without asking really any questions, and that's how it started. You'll be okay.
I've never been winter camping. Sounds like a good idea in theory, but yeah, I'm psyched. No better person to be out in the mountains with than Jeremy, I don't think, so we'll see. I think I'll be good.